Opening stage, 20 laps. Gonna be a good one. Front row, Shane Van Gisbergen. To his left, Brent Cruz. Green is out, and we are racing in wine country.
Really even start there. Great start by Brent Cruz.
But SVG gets away, jumps to the lead.
That's what SVG was looking for there. If you able to hold the outside, you get the launch off of turn 2. Now he can go out. What he does is start setting the pace, already saving rear tires.
Cruz is second. Anthony Alfredo, red, white, and blue. Number 96 is third. Taylor Gray, last week's runner-up, that black and yellow white machine, in fourth as we head to turn 7.
This gets really tight down in here, especially on these starts and restarts. See a couple cars were attempting to put it 3 wide. You got to get that sorted out by the time you get into the S's here. Otherwise, you're in for a long set of S's.
See Sam Mayer there, Austin Hill running side by side. That is so tough to do, running through the S's. Austin Hill seems to have checked up a little bit, allow Sam Mayer to take over that spot.
Mayer so good last week in San Diego, had the big crash. Hill able to take advantage, get his first career win on a road course. And that's Hill's teammate, the two of Jesse Love, working over Justin Allgaier, the last 2 champions racing for position. That's 7th on track.
I like that move by Austin Hill. He let Sam Mayer go into 10. It's high speed. You don't want to be side by side there, and then fired it off into the inside of turn 11. It hasn't worked out, but it sort of sent a message to try and set up Sam Mayer.
8 is Sammy Smith. 18, William Sawalich, good road racer.
Yeah, going after it, just outside the top 10. Parker, you know it's so easy to get track position early in the run, and then it's all about trying to pace yourself. These long green flag runs around here, it's easy to burn up the tires.
Right, and I think we're seeing that right now from our leader, Shane Van Gisbergen, as he has Brent Cruz running his tail, Anthony Alfredo, Taylor Gray. Seeing a train like this, potentially, that's Shane just managing that equipment, managing those tires. I'd be surprised if he's not, you know, sort of taking it easy. Oh, we've got Blaine Perkins spun around.
Oh, and
a lot of front end damage.
Blaine, a guy that's had success on the road. When you look at his career, a couple of top 10s coming out of turn 7.
So we've already got the front end damage there. Had it wheel hopping down into 7 on the inside. Maybe something happened down in 4 there and then continued into 7.
He was back outside the top 25. Also want to report, we knew that there were some gremlins for Brad Perez and that race team. He did not make it out for the start of the race, so tough break there. Monopoly Go, onboard camera, riding with Shane Van Gisbergen. Up the hill to turn 2. Now down to 3 and then up to 3A.
And Parker, this is what makes Shane Van Gisbergen so good. Just knowing that pace. You know, you look in the mirror, you see Brent Cruz, you see Anthony Alfredo. A lot of guys would start panicking a little bit, like start pushing their car a little bit harder than they need to early in this run. But SVG just knows exactly what pace to run.
He does, and he can just manage it so well. And when he's doing this, he's taking care of those rear tires. That's under braking, that's under acceleration. He's just not putting excess force through them. What you do when you're on a hustle lap, you end up using those rear tires by chirping them on the brakes, maybe spinning them on the X of the corners. He just is focused on absolutely not doing any of that. You see the car never slides. He's not laterally using up those tires. He's trying to keep that car super straight, super perpendicular, and just making sure that he's managing those tires so that if those guys were to have a run at him, he would have tire to manage it. Here's Connor Zilich trying to work his way through the field.
51, Jeremy Clements. 26, Dean Thompson.
And you talked about this in the pre-race, trying to keep the fenders on the race car. You want to get up there. The great thing about Connor Zilich now is he doesn't have to worry about points. So we know he's going to use the stages to short pit, get some track position, but you still want to get up there as far as you can early in the race, but you have to do that smart. As we see Brandon Jones off into the dirt here in turn 3.
Powerball power movers, plus 12 for Zilich. Might get another one right here. 0 is Alex LeBay, also going to try to take advantage of Brandon Jones, who had the off-track excursion.
And Connor caught him really quickly there, down to 4. Because Brandon was just trying to gather it back up and get going. All that dirt on his tires.
I thought we might do 3 wide to 7.
Yeah,
I was curious to see how that worked.
It's a pretty tight situation. There's Brandon. He's already gone off. So I don't know if maybe there was a little help or just got loose into that corner. That can happen. The way the car compresses, AJ, you know that into turn 3 there. And so as you sort of head up the hill, it can sort of at times take the rear end out of the racetrack and get a big loose moment.
Brandon was 15th. He's fallen outside the top 20 now. Won a stage here a year ago. Talked about Alex LeBay in the 0. Really good road racer. Racing with Harrison Burton there. Harrison coming off his first top 10 of the campaign last week, and right behind him, the 1, Connor Zilic, continues the climb.
Parker, you talked about it in the practice qualifying show. Alex LeBay gets way more out of the race car.
Oh!
That's not good for the rear tires.
Nope.
At all. Just shows this track has some grip in it right now, but it's so easy to overstep it. I did it in qualifying, but you know, back to Alex LeBay, he gets way more out of his car than a lot of guys do.
Let's take another look at this. This got de-wedged on the curb, trying to put the power down there on the inside of Harrison Burton, and then got away from him.
We're used to Zilic creating highlights on the road. Maybe not so much like that. The save coming down from 2 to 3. And this move was key for his teammate, Shane Van Gisbergen, to get the lead and get ahead of the curve, taking over the top spot early. He's led them all so far in Sonoma, California. Test your luck and make your power play by heading to your local lottery retailer to get in the game for tonight's estimated Powerball jackpot of $348 million.
It's like half your bank account.
Oh, just right there at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Finally, someone put it out there.
13 to go, stage 1, and we have some debris on the racetrack. Came from Kyle Sieg, so under caution for the first time today.
As the tire carcass.
That's right.
As we would say, it's a technical term. Here's the result and why. LeVar Scott in the Sunoco car right there, AJ. Uh-oh. Wheel hop.
He got in a little deep, but Ryan Ellis behind him. It's hard to see if he got a little bit of help, but he was, LeVar Scott was full commitment into turn 11 no matter what, and just got the right rear of Kyle Sieg, and that's what cut it down.
The tire says goodbye.
Right there.
There we go.
Yep. See you later. There's the carcass. And if you're in Kyle Sieg's position there, that is a really frustrating moment, and it happens here. We've seen it many, many times. There's nothing he can do at that point. When there's a car coming at that rate of speed to that moment in the corner, we see this often. You just have to grit and bear it and hope that it doesn't cause damage.
I usually close my eyes when
Oh,
it's
that's a
happening.
good tactic, too. Yeah.
Well, you guys know, turn 11 has had many victims of the game over the years. LeVar Scott, by the way, making his first ever start here at Sonoma in any series.
Adam, I promise you that will not be the first time we've ever seen that, and it definitely is not going to be the last time we see it.
No doubt about it. This does, create an interesting time for a caution, because if you want to play some games, we're about halfway through, closing on the midway point of this opening stage. So if you wanted to try to flip it or maybe get out of sequence, maybe far enough in here you got something to work with. Everybody had 3 sets of tires laying in the pit area. And I think most conventionally would say you'll want to make 2 stops. So we'll see how everybody manages this and what you do. So many options anytime you go road racing to maybe get out of balance, create some track position later in the race.
Definitely does, and I think to a Connor Zilich there who desperately wants that track position right now, could this open up some opportunities for him and that team to leapfrog some cars and pull some strategy to make it a lot easier than having to drive through the field?
We were riding on board there with Anthony Alfredo, and it reminds me of just how great Viking has been throughout 2026, in particular the last few weeks. They qualified top 5 last week at San Diego. Anthony didn't get the payoff. It was a good effort for Parker Retzloff, but here they are, both in the top 5 again. There's the Dude Wipes onboard camera. Really good job by Anthony Alfredo and this team of growing the organization. Didn't add the second car till December, but they are staying ahead of it and really working hard to put themselves in position for success. There's the pit road entry as you head down toward turn 11. And we talked about maybe having some options. For the most part, everybody's staying out. Going to be some takers, though. First of those to come, the only one so far, Harrison Burton.
Zilich, not one of those.
No.
So not an opportunity.
That's right. He said, no thank you, I'll stay out. We're about an hour north of San Francisco, the gorgeous Golden Gate Bridge. First caution of the day, all cleaned up at Sonoma. We're ready for the restart, and the field is heading to the Echo Park Restart Zone. Echo Park Automotive, where car buying is easier, better, and happier. And the restart here will look just like the start of the race. SVG Brent Cruz up front. 10 to go, stage one.
And I wonder if Brent Cruz learned anything from the initial start. It looks like SVG did. Shot out of a cannon on the outside. Gets easily clears Brent. Has free reign at the front.
Anthony Alfredo under Brent Cruz to P2 now. See if Anthony has anything for SVG.
Look at his teammate, Parker Retzloff, able to get around Taylor Gray for position at black and green, number 99 to fourth.
This is incredible by Viking Motorsport. Last week, this week, this is for real. They just passed a Joe Gibbs racing car, and Anthony Alfredo is trying to run down the best stock car road racer in the world. Big lockup from Jesse Love.
Hometown guy, reigning champ, locking it down, going to 7. Another California kid in front of him, 17, Corey Day.
I don't like that for Jesse Love. That right front tire was locked up for a long time, Parker. We're going to have to see if he can stay on the racetrack, but that thing definitely has to be flat spotted.
Yeah, it's going to make you really uneasy right now for a couple laps just to see what the reaction is. If he starts to continually lock that up. Oh, it's Justin Allgaier moves the inside of Corey Day into 11.
Allgaier, 3 career wins on the road. A 5-time winner this year. Championship leaders look great.
Little tire rub there for Ross Chastain in that 32 car on the left front. Oh, that's got a big tire rub as the speed increased down the straightaway.
Back to Allgaier and Day.
So far, that right front tire looks okay for Jesse Love. Go back here to Ross Chastain. Batting with Sheldon Creed.
And it might clearance itself a little bit, potentially, the way it was at the top of the tire. Here we're on board with Sheldon Creed. We look at the 2. You saw that right front lockup. This might be the contact. Oh, there it is. Through 9.
Opposite side, though.
Yeah, that's a different donut.
They're 10th and 11th on track right now, 32-0. Dean Thompson, Jeremy Clements can't get away from one another, and right behind them, Ryan Sieg.
Ryan Sieg just on the edge of the chase cutoff. Needs a good run here, knowing that this is probably not one of his better racetracks.
Look at Zilich. He's kind of quiet after he got up inside the top 25, kind of flatlined there about 21st, but he's picking them off again since the restart. Scored 16th right now.
And this is a tough place to make up tons of positions. It's really a one-by-one affair out of Sonoma. AJ, you know this. There's no quick, oh, wait a second. There goes Jeb Burton off in the grass. Brandon Jones almost followed him.
Jeb, I've done this before. As you go to tip it off into 3A there, it drops the right rear into the dirt as you touch the brake pedal. And once that happens, he did a great job of not spinning out, but you are going to take a ride through the dirt.
Oh, Dean Thompson spun around.
It's been a very active first 12 laps or so.
We've got cars going everywhere.
Raja Kruth, 88, had a front row seat for Burton. Jeb in the 27 was 20th. He's now outside the top 30.
It's so easy to do there, AJ, because you want to get more angle, but you go a little bit too far, and suddenly the right rear has no grip, and you're going for a ride like you saw there. Jeb covered that windshield in dirt and grime, so that'll be harder to see out of. Hopefully he doesn't cover the radiator too much.
I just feel like these O'Reilly drivers are just trying to carry it over from San Diego.
Let's not go there. That was one of the more bizarre afternoons we've had in 2026. Unbelievable weekend. So much fun in San Diego at Naval Base Coronado, but we did have a handful when it comes to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. 2 good young drivers here. Zilich up to 15th, going by Sawalich.
That was easily one of the longest races of all time in the O'Reilly Series.
Indeed.
That was quite the weekend.
Took a nap, had a lunch, dinner, still watched the race.
We were still on TV? Yeah.
Let's get an update. Number 1 in Zilich. Dylan?
Well, that caution in the middle of this stage was exactly what Rodney Childers and the one team told me they were hoping for. Connor done a great job to pick off 10 or 11 cars there and make up a bulk of that track position. Then they got that yellow, which bunched everyone back up, and he's going right back to work here. So it's 7 to go in this stage. He's in 15th right now, in position to do a lot of damage control and make up a lot of that track position that they needed to make up early in this race. So all going according to plan right now. Connor's feedback just a little bit loose, specifically in the right-hand corners.
Here's the other thing I would say. I mean, not only do you cut the gap down, as Brandon Jones has a problem here, but you think about the number of drivers in the top 15 that will run it long to get points. So when they flip the stage, you got to believe the one will. That will help their track position even more as we move forward.
He might be able to roll to pit lane here, it looks like. I was wondering if maybe we saw some water spouting out of it or something from when he went off. Got all that debris on the front, but not the case.
Jones able to get back to pit entry. If he can make it all the way around, we will stay green here.
Sounds like it might be a transmission issue for Brandon.
Disappointing. I feel like Brandon Jones this year, it's feast or famine. He runs well, has opportunity to win the race, or he just has days like this. There doesn't seem a lot of in-between right now for this 20 team and Brandon Jones.
Came in 6th in points and slowly coasting toward his pit stall, Kim.
Yeah, something mechanical. Brandon came on the radio and said it just shut off. So crew chief Sam McCauley already ordered a tow to the garage. Not sure if it's going to be completely terminal, but expect them off the racetrack.
Not much to diagnose there. I don't know. We don't have enough information, and they don't have enough information to diagnose. So they'll have to dissect that and dive into it for the 20, but really unfortunate for Brandon Jones. I can't take my eyes off Anthony Alfredo and the job he's doing right here. This is absolutely incredible. As we go on board, the Dude White's on board. SVG has gotten away, but not in a massive way, and he's been holding off Brent Cruz in a Joe Gibbs Racing car. This team, AJ, bought these cars from Call Lake Racing, your race team, a year ago, and has formed this second race team he's driving for basically in December, January. You told the story earlier, Adam. They basically didn't have any cars. And look at this performance last week and now this week.
And you know, I look at this 96 team and Anthony Alfredo. They've run just as good as the 99 team at Parker Retzlaff. It just seems like a lot of bad luck. But I feel like something over these last few weeks has really turned this program even further forward, and we're watching it right now. And this is a driver right now. We know SVG is the best in the business, as we see Connor Zilich on pit road trying to maybe do the stage switch here, but do it early enough, Parker. You get one quick lap on tires compared to the other guys. You can jump them and get further up the field on this next restart.
Carson Quapple also making a pit stop. Scheduled green flag stop, you got to believe here, as you said, to flip the stage, gain some track position as we advance to the start of stage 2, Dylan.
Yeah, and even if they go back out here and just kind of cruise to finish this stage to try to save some tires, they're going to be in a great spot when we restart in stage 2. Saw the chassis adjustment in the back window for the 1 to help with that loose condition, 4 tires and fuel, Kim.
You see Carson Quapple in that 91 car. He said the car feels good, just feels like he's losing the most time through the S's.
I got to tell you, Carson Quapple has done an outstanding job. 5 consecutive top 10 finishes. That's the best run he's ever been on in his career. And he 3 different cars. He drives the 1, he drives the 9 for Junior Motorsports. This is his last start in the 91 for DGM, as he puts all the pieces together to run full time.
And just heartbreak for him last week, Adam. Oh, it sounds like
speeding for Connor Zilich.
No way.
Well, all that passing that you did in the first stage, good news. You get to try to do it again in the second stage.
Well, here's the tough thing. When it happens now, you know, you can't do the pass-through, right? You got to wait till you get to the end of the stage and then start stage 2 in the back. So I mean, it just really is a compounding problem here. Sheldon Creed is in, Dylan.
Zilich has started the parade of cars down pit road to flip this stage. Sheldon Creed just came on the radio and said that he needs more grip and help in the turns to the right. Chassis adjustment for tires and fuel, Kim.
And for Sam Mayer in the 41, little snug, just overall tight. Need to open up the entry in turn 11. That's where he's losing the most lap time for Mayer.
Sam Mayer had back-to-back top 5 finishes for the first time this season prior to last week's disappointment. And here it is. This is great news that Zilich was able to come in and do the pass-through before pit road was closed with 2 to go, because he, as I said, he would have had to start at the rear, and we've seen that before where you do something to gain track position and it doesn't pay off. Meanwhile, scheduled stop for the race leader, Shane Van Gisbergen, coming in, and he'll close pit road. Here he is, Kim.
Yeah, giving up the lead to flip the stage. Shane, though, saying the car's good right now. In fact, crew chief Philip Bell asking, is the rear lateral any better than yesterday? Because that's what he struggled with in practice. Shane saying, yes, really good, just managing. So not good for the rest of the field to hear that the leader was just managing through that first 18 laps.
I'm not surprised by that. That's what we figured he was doing in terms of managing those tires and that race car.
So Van Gisbergen pulls away, and we'll see where he cycles. But these guys have stayed out. They're going to run it long, get some points. The new race leader, Anthony Alfredo, in the 96. Cruz is right there. Retzloff, Gray, Day, Hill. A bunch of series regulars staying on track here, running it long, chasing stage points. We'll see 1 to go in the stage this time around.
And for Brent Cruz, we know how close it is as we see Anthony Alfredo. That's turn 10. He locked up just a little bit. Looked like he still got a good drive off the corner. Brent's probably going to be just a little bit too far away, but every point counts right now for Brent Cruz. Just outside the chase cutoff. He wants this stage win. 1 lap to go.
And this is big for Anthony Alfredo as well. Maybe not so much the points, but the bragging rights to hold off a Joe Gibbs racing car and win a stage for Viking Motorsport. They came so close last week, but Parker Retzloff actually hurt their effective race result trying to go for that stage win. These drivers do have some bonuses involved in their contracts for winning stages. He wants this stage win bad, trying to hold off Brent Cruz.
Did you just say, show me the money, without saying, show me the money?
Particularly.
This is going to be important for Brent to try to get a good run off, but he got loose behind Alfredo there. Not going to be close enough into 7.
And now the run down through the S's, turn 10, turn 11. Big for Anthony Alfredo, who is chasing his first career stage win, and it would be the first stage victory for Viking Motorsports. Big moment for the 96 group.
Got a little daylight right there. Brent Cruz got a bit loose through 8 and 9. That's what he wanted to see. He's going to hear just a couple back car lengths. It's perfect going into turn 11.
Little traffic there as they get to turn 11. A lot to manage here on the final lap of the stage, but Anthony Alfredo does it, and he's going to pick up career stage win number 1. Awesome job by Alfredo. Cruz with big points is second. Gray, who was a runner-up in last week's race, finishes third. Retzloff is 4th. Viking coming off a week when they scored 33 stage points, right? That's the best they've done combined as a group, and off to a great start here today. And Corey Day ends up inside the top 5 as well. So we'll get pit stops, and we'll get the reset when we return. We're live in Sonoma, where Anthony Alfredo is off to a great start. This summer, the Minions make a monster movie so big it might just leave Hollywood in ruins. Don't miss Minions and Monsters, only in theaters Wednesday. Get tickets now. Been a fun week in California for NASCAR. Last week, San Diego. This weekend, Sonoma. Southern California to Northern California. Stage 1 is done, and pit stops are happening, Dylan.
First pit box's Taylor Gray said the balance was good. I was just trying to stay under the tire. Jason Ratcliffe, the crew chief, said turn 3A is where we're losing the most time. Parker Retzloff needs lateral grip. He said, I am out of control. They'll make a track bar adjustment and air pressure change. Kim?
Dylan, his teammate, also needs lateral grip. In fact, Anthony's saying lost left rear lateral in certain areas, then lost front turn in other areas. The team, though, is going to focus on that left rear lateral. See them finishing up that stop right there. And then for Brent Cruz, who is at the very last box before exit, just said 0 lateral grip and lacking drive off. It's going to be 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel.
Race off Progressive Pit Road is not for the race lead. So many had flipped the stage. First off here is going to be Taylor Gray. Cruz comes off right behind him. Anthony Alfredo wins the stage and drops 2 on the pit lane. NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by PitBoss Grills, America's #1 pellet grill. The Credit One Bank NASCAR American Express card. And by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. Stage 1 complete in Sonoma, California. This stage break brought to you by Arby's. We look at the stage points. Some names up there that are chasing it. I look down at Austin Hill, got the win last week. They still feel like they can make a late regular season run, get up top 2-3 to end it. And with the reset, that would be huge. So they get 5 stage points here. And if there's anyone who knows the value of a good crew, it's the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. That's why they want to put the spotlight on the pit crew members that are essential to a race team's success. Here's Dylan.
And we will spotlight Tanner Muse. You see him there on the screen, native of Belmont, North Carolina. Like many of these guys down here on pit road, a former college athlete, played 4 years of football at Clemson as a defensive back, won 2 national championships there before getting drafted to the NFL by the Raiders, then spent 5 seasons in the NFL. He played for a few different teams, among them the Raiders, as mentioned, and also the Pittsburgh Steelers you see there. So great to have him down on pit road. There's several of those great collegiate athletes on that Sam Hunt Racing crew, and this is just one of them, the 29-year-old native of Belmont, North Carolina.
Really, really cool story. Thank you for that, Dylan. So the drivers that came down pit road into the stage, Taylor Gray, first off, he is 15th prior to the choose. So 14 guys stay out. And those guys that came down under caution, Harrison Burton, Blaine Perkins, will be 1-2 here. Shane Van Gisbergen, so good to start the race from the pole. 3rd at the choose, inside that driver's right line, 2nd row.
Got to be super careful here.
Echo Park restart zone. Big jump for Harrison Burton.
Saw SVG. It looked like he spun the tires a little bit. Didn't get away great, but still going to clear Blaine Perkins off into turn 2 there. Take over 2nd place. Go after Harrison Burton.
Connor Zilic was 12th prior to the choose after having to do the pass-through when he got the speeding penalty. So his track position better than it was early in the race, obviously. A little dirt for SVG coming down the hill.
And that worked out a lot better than I thought it would in terms of having Blaine Perkins and Harrison Burton ahead of them in the row ahead. Sam Mayer looks the inside. Oh, Justin Allgaier locked up the rears.
Gosh, I was going to say, how did he hang on to it? And he doesn't. 7 goes around, spins out.
41. No, I fit in there.
It's like he protected from the 41.
Yeah, we'll have to look at a replay there, but it never looked like Sam Mayer touched him, but it definitely startled Justin Allgaier. You're in so late on the brakes there, it's easy to start wheel hopping as we see SVG make quick work of Harrison Burton, trying to bring Jesse Love with him.
Restarted 3rd, 1 lap later, 9 back on point. As we look at what happened coming to turn 7 for driver 7, Justin Allgaier.
So you're going to see Sam Mayer dart to the inside. And right there, you could have definitely touched him. It's not the best angle, but you start to see at that point the 7 wiggle AJ a little bit, get the wheel hop, goes around.
Yeah, the way the 7 just started dancing a little bit, the 41 might have just touched him. So we're on board here with Sheldon Creed.
Yeah, he's just a recipient of that one. Yeah, I'm going to think that the way the 7s got so unsettled there, Sam Mayer definitely got in the back. Let's take a listen to Justin Allgaier's radio.
I'll get back, just reset. Tires are killed. I don't know if you heard me. All right, come on. We'll come in.
Calm Andrew Overstreet right there in that situation. I think I saw Justin Allgaier actually go off another time on the subsequent lap, so definitely struggling those tires, but maybe if they're not flat spotted in your crew chief, you'd want them to try and just stay out there, grit and bear it.
I like this battle. Sammy Smith's been in the top 5. Sheldon Creed is there, and joining them now, the one of Connor Zilic. Mention the fact that Connor was 12th prior to the choose, so you restart outside the top 10, but he's made some nice gains early in the run. and got a couple right in front of him. Which way do you go? Quapple right there as well.
He's trying to make that decision right now in real time, which way to go here. Now on the outside of Sheldon Creed, the 3A and the 3B on the inside. Should effectively make the pass, and he does.
Hey, celebrate Austin Green, our Powerball power movers. It's plus 28 today. Backup car from the back after a huge crash yesterday in practice.
And for Connor Zilic, even with that speeding penalty, when they flipped the stage, being able to pit again or do the drive-through effectively was a net gain still for him. He had come in from 15th, ends up 12th on the restart. That was a net gain.
Yeah, so fortunate that they chose with 4 to go to make that pit stop, because if they didn't and he got that speeding penalty with 3 to go, pit road would have been closed next time by. So a huge kind of mistake, but also fortunate that they did it at the right time, and now he's battling for the top 5.
That dude needs something to go his way. And now we're looking at some drivers that made pit stops after running it long into the stage. Cruising the 19, bumper cars, there goes Blaine Perkins.
And Anthony Alfredo, they were basically 3 wide and bouncing all off of each other down in the braking zone. That really hurt Anthony as he had to go around Blaine Perkins, lost a couple of positions.
Corey Day got pretty aggressive in that exchange.
Yeah, take a look here. So there goes Corey Day to the inside. Anthony tried to block, couldn't get to the back of William Sawalich, who gets squeezed by Blaine Perkins. It's like 3 cars into 1, AJ.
Yeah, and that's as Anthony Alfredo tried to block the inside. Corey Day kind of stuffed it down there, made an aggressive pass. And by the time Anthony got to the brake pedal, as you can see, just nothing malicious. Gets into the back of the 18, which gets into the back of the 31. And Blaine Perkins is like, what the heck? I wasn't doing anything wrong.
That really worked out well for Brent Cruz and Ross Chastain, who were able to sneak through, no damage, and pick up a couple of positions. And now the battle for the lead. Jesse Love not letting SVG get away at the front. And Zilic continues the ride.
Down under Harrison Burton. That's going to be up to 4th place now, Parker. Getting closer to the front. Almost you can hear the music start.
The Jaws
music is going.
Going there. Also, the driver he just went by, Harrison Burton, hanging on. Oh, I just was going to say, oh, that's a commentator's curse right there. Off in 1. That's a high-speed place to go off for Harrison Burton. He was doing such a good job hanging on up there with the strategy they employed, but now he's going to have to sit here and basically let the whole field go by before he can pull away.
See right here, I think he gets a little help, possibly. That's super tight. Looked like Harrison maybe got just a little loose as he turned in for turn 1 there, Parker. Checked up, and Sammy Smith may have just touched him.
But you know, he pitted at lap 9. He can't, so those tires a little older than some of these other guys.
He was potentially just trying to keep up with Zilic in front of him, oversped it a little bit.
Looking
really
at it again.
He was doing such a good job.
Looking at it again, looks like he just got a bit free into turn 1 there.
Saw a car just going out of our shot. It was Ross Chastain who's got a problem.
I believe he headed out into the
down near the drag strip.
The drag strip area. There's flames underneath the car. That was down in turn 4.
Well, I got to tell you, there have been some hiccups here for Jordan Anderson Racing. We've seen Jeb Burton off, problems for the 32. Blaine Perkins went around in turn 11. Good stuff at the front.
I'm watching Ross come down the drag strip right now outside our window. So that's confirmed he's in the middle of the racetrack.
Closing on the halfway point of stage 2, SVG in front of Love, Mayer, Zilic, and Sammy Smith. And we get our 2nd caution of the day for an incident, 3rd overall of the afternoon. Fluid on track.
Yeah, and here's Ross. He's been coming down the drag strip that runs alongside the front stretch. That would have been a very weird visual moment for any drivers coming down the front stretch to see a car on the other side coming towards them.
I'll be honest.
I didn't know you knew how to go here.
Hats off to Ross for knowing how to get back. I'd have been completely lost.
For your sake,
incredible.
I hope you don't have to discover that tomorrow, my man.
Do you have like Google Maps or something in there? This is amazing.
Chastain knows the shortcuts at Sonoma. Caution is out. SVG leads. NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by Golden Corral. Golden Corral honors our nation's heroes. Progressive Insurance. Get in the savings lane today. Visit progressive.com. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Full disclosure, I'm not a travel agent, but I will tell you, if you come to Northern California and go to San Francisco, you got to do the Alcatraz tour. There's so much history at that place. I mean, you think about Al Capone, George Machine Gun Kelly, and here's what's shocking to me as we put the facts up. I did not realize a 25-acre island. That's pretty unbelievable.
It's a pretty heavy place if you go for the tour.
It is.
I got there and I thought immediately, I need to get out of here. So, pretty wild.
Now we do replay, brought to you by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. Harrison Burton going for a ride off in turn 1.
And it was unfortunate because he was running so well on this alternate strategy, was up in the top 5. This is the type of thing where if you employ a strategy like that, you just have to do your best to limit the damage, not do something like this, and unfortunately lost it there down into turn 1. And that whole strategy has been flipped upside down. But he was doing a great job until then, AJ.
Yeah, it was essentially he had 7 to 8 lap older tires than everybody, and he had good pace in it, and that's what you're hoping in that strategy. You get your car up front, show that you have good speed in it, but gets to reset and go try it again from the back.
The fluid on track from Ross Chastain. Cleanup continues. We get in another break. Just over 10 laps to go. Stage 2 at Sonoma for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Welcome back. CW Sports coverage of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series live in Sonoma, California. Today it's the PitBoss FoodMaxx 250. Here's Kim Kuhn.
Yeah, Carson Kvapil behind the 91 for the final time this season. Currently running in the 7th position, and he's typically sporty when we come on road courses, but he's got a little bit of a driver coach in his ear. Take a listen to our in-car courtesy of Starkey.
I know it sounds kind of weird, Carson, but Ron Fellows used to stab a little bit of throttle between the S's, in the center of the S's. He would slow down the first left-hander and then just stab a little throttle to try to drive the car a little tight into the right-hander. Gotcha. Yeah, I'll give that a shot there.
Decipher that, AJ.
I'm trying to think about what they're trying to talk about. As they get into A, you're just trying to, I think, maybe not to arc 9 as much, so if you can kind of throttle straight to it, carry a little bit more entry speed. But Ron Fellows is really good, so that's not a bad guy to go off of.
12 to go, stage 2. Front row, SVG, Jesse Love. They're coming through the Echo Park restart zone.
Sam Mayer got in the rear bumper there at SVG. SVG spun the tires a little bit, gave Jesse Love an opportunity here up the hill.
Van Gisbergen inside lane, turn 2.
Jesse just couldn't quite hang to the outside of SVG.
How about the battle for third? Mayer and Zilich. Side by side to turn 4.
This is so hard for Sam Mayer being under Connor Zilich. Your car wants to get super loose on corner entry there. Connor can hang the outside through 7 here. He'll get that straight line. He clears Sam Mayer for third.
We had 3 wide behind them there. Corey Day, Austin Hill. Anthony Alfredo looked at making it 4 wide, thought better of it. He's trying to get by there, Corey Day in the 9.
How about Zilich from the back to third? He's done it in just over 30 laps with a speeding penalty.
See Carson Kvapil get just a little bit deep as everybody started checking up for the hairpin. Did a good job just to barely get into the back of Sheldon Creed.
And that's who he's fighting right there with, is Austin Green in a backup car. Yesterday he had a horrific crash where he lost his brakes down into turn 11. He has never driven this backup. It's not even his seat. This is really RCR's primary backup that he's using here. So a lot to adjust to, but up in the top 10 doing a great job.
Well, and that duo now under attack from those drivers. Ran it long in stage 1, pitted at the end of the stage. Taylor Gray, Brent Cruz, Austin Hill a part of that mix.
And I think you're going to see these drivers be super aggressive at the end of this stage, because I would feel like as we got a battle for second here, best friends, Connor Zilich, Jesse Love. But Parker, I really think if you want a chance to win this race or run in the top 5, you're not going to run long in this stage and run it out. You're going to short pit, so every position means something in this stage.
Well, and it's that plus fuel strategy, though. There is, fuel concerns for some of these teams. Some are sort of confident they can make it from that point if you flip this stage. Some are thinking they cannot. So it's going to really come down to what fuel mileage they saw on stage 1 and what they're thinking. But let's get more on the 1 from Dylan.
Yeah, well, Parker, you're right. That's the concern for the 1 of Zilich. They've got the track position now, but they just came on the radio and said that their plan is to try to run this out to the end of stage 2 here for exactly that reason. Just want to make sure they give themselves enough of a buffer in stage 3, and especially if we get a green-white checkered or anything of that sort. It's very close for several of these teams, and that's on the radar certainly for all of them at this point in the race.
And Dylan, that has definitely been a trend this season. These junior motorsports cars not quite getting the fuel mileage they had even maybe a year ago. We know how successful they've been. Sometimes when you make horsepower, AJ, could it use a little more fuel?
Well, yeah, and they got a lot more grip than most of the cars. So you definitely are in the throttle more.
That's what it is.
Look at this battle for position. Cruz had gotten by Gray to be the best of those that ran it long at the end of stage 1.
We heard
8th and 9th on track.
Yeah, we heard Brent Cruz talking about at the end of that stage that he just doesn't have that lateral grip that he's looking for. And Parker, it seems like as he's fighting it right now, he can't get in the corners like he wants, but he really can't attack the throttle on exits.
You see it. I've seen this car have some really hellacious wiggles and slides at times on the exit of the corners like you're referencing. So definitely just feels like that car's probably out of the racetrack in the rear, and they're going to continue to try to make adjustments on it. But this track is finicky this weekend. You mentioned it about Cup. It got faster for some reason in Cup qualifying, but some of these drivers saying it's less grip than last year. It's really tough to really put your finger on exactly how this track is reacting.
PitBoss onboard camera, riding with California native Sheldon Creed. He and Sammy Smith just tied together since the restart, really. 5th and 6th, right in front of Quapple.
Got the ballet dance here on the foot cam, Parker.
I find this so cool to watch. It's almost mesmerizing in some respects to see all three of these screens combined, what a driver is doing there with their feet, with their hands. You see a lot of tapping in the braking areas just to make sure the pads are against the rotors.
Now you'll watch him just kind of lay on it a little bit there, rolling into turn 10. Gets off it, feeds the throttle so gently down into turn 11, hard on the brakes.
And you see the modulation as he gets down to the center of the corner. It's an initial stab of the brake as hard as you want to, the highest pressure you'll have, and then it modulates to the point of the apex of the corner.
8 to go, stage 2, SVG leading. It's time to go full throttle with Sound Gear. Wherever sound is a problem, Sound Gear has the solution. Scan the QR code to learn more at soundgear.com. Turn it up. Pretty quiet race here a year ago. When you think about caution counts, 3 cautions today, 1 for the yellow that came out to end the opening stage. And so now you start thinking about where are we on the long run? And when you're out front like Shane Van Gisbergen is, you can kind of manage things, but he's now got Connor Zilic behind him, the one overcoming some adversities to put himself in position as we head toward the end of this second stint of the race.
Yeah, and this is where Shane is so good. Connor, a few laps ago, set the Xfinity fast lap. And he thought, okay, Connor's starting to run down. Last lap, SVG 6/10 quicker than Connor Zilic.
He responded.
So, you know, there's always that game, and you can tell Connor's pushing really hard to try to get to him, and I still feel like Shane Van Gisbergen is just managing.
Well, I think I heard when we were on Sound Gear full throttle there, I heard on the onboard with Shane, the downshift's being a little bit more aggressive. And that's the notification to me that taking things a little more seriously. He sees the one has gotten there. Now it's trying to send a message of how do we stack up? What is my full pace compared to him? If he starts to run me down, he knows that's his most likely #1 competitor here today, just like it was last year. He's got to have to respond to that and start to push this car and know what he needs to tell his crew chief to do changes-wise when we get to this final stop, potentially final stop, to say, hey, this is going to be the adjustment I need to beat the one.
I'm really curious, too, to see how the strategy plays for everybody. Dylan, you know, talked about the game plan for the one. Fuel mileage, certainly a big part of the conversation in the garage area earlier today. And then you factor in what everybody did there management-wise into stage 1, chasing points. A whole lot to think about. Sammy Smith, Sam Mayer with Sheldon Creed right behind him. This for 4th.
Oh, Parker, this gets super tight through the S's.
Elbows out right here. You start hip checking at times through those S's. It gets frustrating.
Sheldon Creed's running 6 behind these two. Like, would you guys just make a decision? Because I'm going to go by both of you.
He's going to have a big run on his teammate right here to the inside. His teammate tries to block.
I thought the door was going to be shut. Creed sneaks in there. Quapple wants a piece. Brent Cruz there in the 19.
And this is where it gets difficult for somebody like Sam Mayer. You're running 4th. That car starts getting under you. You got about 3 to 4 cars behind you. It feels like that train never ends. Kind of got to get your mind reset, refocus.
Get back in the rhythm there as he hits the inside curb in 2. Car started bouncing. But yeah, this place is really about rhythm too. If you get out of that, it can take you a couple of corners to get back into the field, exactly where those tires are at, where the track is at grip-wise. And when you get shoved to the outside there in 10, like you said, you're hanging on a little bit, and you have to recenter as he's trying to hold off Brent here into 7.
Cruz a little fresher tires. Sneaking to the inside. 19 proven to be good over the long haul here in stage 2.
Sam's having deja vu from a lap before with the 8.
Look at this off track. I mean, just off-road, make it work. But a little loss of momentum. Here comes the 91, Carson Quapple.
And as a driver there, Brent Cruz knows I'm on the inside of him. There's not a lot of grip to the outside of me. So if I just lean on him a little bit, it gets him wide. You're able to make that pass. Sam Mayer's lost 5 spots in 2 laps here, trying to get one of them back here on Taylor Gray.
And Sam will not have appreciated that, but there's nothing he could do at that point when Brent gets into his door through those S's. And when you end up side by side and you're sort of on the defense to his S's, there's just not a lot you can do to respond to that moment as he gets into Taylor Gray here a little bit. His elbows out for Sam Mayer.
Starting to see pit stops flipping the stage. 87, Austin Green is in, Kim.
Yeah, and that backup car on Lynn from RCR. Austin Doe saying car feels good. He does need just a little bit more rear security, then choosing to flip this stage. So either crew chief Jody Meessemer feels good about their fuel mileage or maybe predicting some cautions in the last stage to stretch it. You saw that chassis adjustment as the other side of tires go on and fuel in the race car.
Yeah, I think I said this earlier, but Kim references maybe coming a 3rd time. All these teams should have 3 sets of sticker tires laying. So even if you flip the stage here, stay out at the end of the stage, with a longer final stage, cautions fall right, you would have a sticker set laying if you wanted to come back. And, you know, when I look at our bumper, the other thing to point out, Junior Motorsports had won 11 straight races on the road. That was snapped last week by RCR, but they got 3 in the top 4 here. And here comes Taylor Gray. Scheduled green flag pit stop. Anthony Alfredo won the opening stage. Flipping it here, down to Dillon.
Only real feedback from the 54 was at the beginning of this run. Said he fired off tighter on sticker tires, but the car was getting better. Routine service for the 54. Kim?
And for Anthony Alfredo, also fired off tight, but then he said the car was coming to him, and they actually decided on this plan at the beginning of stage 2. Crew chief Joshua Graham telling his driver, you did your job, meaning he won that first stage. Now I'm going to go for the win, which meant flipping the stage.
I love that mentality.
Hey. He had the speed.
So when SVG comes by in the 9, whether he does it on pit road or on the racetrack, that's going to close the pit lane. See how they manage it. And he will pit, flip the stage, just like he did in stage 1. And just like Dylan reported, the 1 of Connor Zilic stays out. He'll run it long here. 9 is in, giving up the race lead and making his scheduled stop.
Yeah, Adam, and a very interesting call by crew chief Philip Bell, because when I talked to him this morning, he said, I am absolutely worried about fuel mileage and our ability to flip this stage. We saw them do it last year, but the fuel mileage for those JRM cars has not been what it was last year. So we'll see if he's just putting confidence in his driver to be able to save enough fuel in that final stage. Shane, though, just needing a little bit more lateral. Still the same problem he's had all race and yesterday in practice.
Jesse Love is in, flipping the stage. He's had good track position today. Referenced the JRM win streak on the road coming to an end last week with Austin Hill winning. That was the first win on the road for RCR when Austin Hill got it done in 10 years.
And you think back to Watkins Glen when the 2-car had some of the best fuel mileage in that final stage of anyone, was able to do an alternate strategy that put him in position to try and win and hold off Zilich and lost in the final corner. But he was one of the few cars that was able to stretch his fuel that far. So if there's anyone that feels confident maybe making this work, it could be that 2-car Jesse Love.
That was one of his many heartbreaks this year.
Save me some fuel here, buddy. Just save me some fuel. You're not going to get the 9. Just save fuel. Nobody coming out.
Stockman employing the strategy immediately. Fuel save.
These guys are outside the top 10, but sometimes timing and scoring doesn't give you all the updates you want when everything is scattered through a cycle of green flag stops. The one thing we know for sure, Connor Zilich, the race leader, 1 to go, second stage.
And this is a strategy now where, you know, to a certain degree, Parker, Connor Zilich on this next restart can be aggressive. Some of these guys are going to have to start saving. How much? I think it varies for everybody. But Connor Zilich, although going to probably restart about 14th or 15th from how many guys we've seen pit, going to definitely have the most fuel and be the most aggressive early in the run.
And I can assure you, if he's able to pull this off or even get back to the front, he will have passed most cars today.
No doubt.
Starting at the back, everything that's happened, the pit road speeding penalty, if he is able to pull this off, he will have passed a ton of cars on this day. And maybe that's what gave Rodney the thought is, I saw him pass him before, try it again.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, they have the confidence to get it done. 14 drivers did flip the stage. As AJ said, you're going to be racing somewhere around 15th when we get the restart for the final stage if you can execute on the pit lane. Behind the lap car of Josh Bilicki in the 07. Connor Zilich comes back to the green and white checkered flag. 16th career stage win and his 4th stage win of the year. He's recorded victories at Bristol and Watkins Glen. Sammy Smith having a good points year. Stays out, runs it long, gets points. Same for Creed. Cruz does it again. Great points day when he came in below that chase cut line. Carson Kvapil, 91. Just, I mean, every time he gets behind the wheel, whether it's the 91, the 9, the 1, whatever it is, he seems to go out, be productive. And they are again here today. So there's the duo, right? They've led laps today. We know how good they are, and we would anticipate we'll see them doing it again. And if last year is any indication, we're in for a real treat in the final stage. It was the 88-9 last year. Maybe today it's the 9 and the 1. They are the stars of the show. Connor Zilich, Shane Van Gisbergen. Final stage coming your way from Sonoma. As we head into the next stage, it's time to fuel up with Arby's new Angus cheesesteak with 100% Angus beef, melty Cooper cheese, and a toasted Amoroso's roll. It's exactly what you need to finish strong. Race to yours by texting RACE to 27297 to get notified about Arby's exclusive deals. Order your cheesesteak in the Arby's app today. Those that ran it long, coming down the progressive pit lane. Connor Zilic leading them. Here they are, Dylan.
Decent day of stage point earning for Sammy Smith in the 8. Said that his car wasn't terrible, just was losing rear grip. That's been the report for a lot of cars. They'll come down here, change 4 tires, and get it full of fuel. Teammate Connor Zilic said the balance was better, but I'm still a little bit looser than I'd like. Even though they ran that stage out, they are not confident they can make it to the end on fuel. Going to try to get it as full as they can and likely have to do some work behind the wheel to save as much as he can, Kim.
You know who is confident? That's the 19 of Brent Cruz. Crew chief Seth Chapka told me, his driver, we're going to be good on fuel so you can run it hard. We do not need to conserve like some of these other guys. That car feels pretty good. Just didn't have the drive off at the end of the run as the 8 had an issue on pit road.
Yeah, we'll follow up on Sammy Smith in a second. First, the race off progressive pit road. Zilic holds serve +2 for Cruz. This is big when you think about the cycle and the restart position with those that stayed out. And Sammy Smith pulling away. Not good. Tire goes
Wheels
rolling.
not on.
NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. Progressive, save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. And by PitBoss Grills, America's #1 pellet grill. It's been a perfect weather weekend here in Sonoma, California. I love our seat in the booth, but Carla, I think I like yours even better down there.
That's right. I'm here in turn 11. We've got some really cool trophies in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. We've got the sword, the clock, but here at Sonoma, if you're a wine connoisseur, then you really love this one because this is a chalice that a driver will get. It's going to be filled with ones by Sabonis Pinot Noir in Victory Lane today. And if Sabonis sounds a little bit familiar to you, yes, that is Domantas Sabonis of the Sacramento Kings, a 3-time NBA All-Star player. He and his wife own a winery, and this is only produced in exclusive quantities. So very special for the winner today. And I know you're thinking, well, we have a lot of underage drivers. Well, they're not going to get the Pinot Noir, unfortunately. They're going to get Martinelli's apple cider. So maybe not quite as exclusive, Kim, but still fancy enough, I think.
Well, I can tell you two guys that would love to take home that exclusive bottle of wine. SVG running P1, Jesse Love running P2. So where do they stand based on flipping that stage? Well, crew chief Danny Stockman before the race told me we've got really good fuel mileage compared to the field. We're fine flipping stage 2. He did tell his driver, I need the best saving of your life here. So maybe questionable or just feeling a little nervous about their fuel mileage. For the 9 of SVG, remember I told you guys that Philip Bell told me he was absolutely nervous. Well, take a listen to Starkey in-car communication, how they feel.
Yeah, we should be 1 to the good, so all good.
I'll try to save a little bit once we get rolling too if I manage to pull clear.
Yep, 10-4.
Doesn't seem to be a lot of stress there. 14 drivers flipped it, a few of those pitted. So 11 stay out. Zilich was 12 prior to the choose. His teammate out front. Shane Van Gisbergen, Jesse Love get us going again. Final stage, Sonoma.
Another great restart by Jesse Love, but is he able to hang on the outside? It's not going to look like it.
Oh, he's there.
Oh, he
Parker.
is.
He's going to have the inside in turn 3, but SVG drives it down in the corner. Up over their hill here. Can he get the power down? He's going to hold Jesse Love off for the lead.
Look who comes through to third. Anthony Alfredo flipping the stage right in the game.
Wasn't quite able to do the crossover there for Jesse Love, but you mentioned, Adam, Anthony Alfredo back into the top 3. Stage 1 winner. He's in the hunt.
Corey Day is as well. Been a quiet afternoon for him because of the way the coming and going has happened with the track position and the way they've traded things in regard to the pit cycle, but he's up there inside the top 5.
Look at Connor Zilich. Yeah, under Jeremy Clements now. Into 9th. As we see Jesse Love peaking low under SVG down in turn 11. Can't get it done.
Day racing gray. And I hope they're not racing for long. It's a little bit of a tongue twister. Allgaier goes wide in 11.
He's had a rough 2 weeks there, Justin Allgaier in the 7. Last week, they hit the wall in qualifying, got spun out in the race, had a cylinder, lost a cylinder, lost a second cylinder, and now this race is not going to plan for the 7 of Justin Allgaier.
Austin Green talked about his day. Always good racing on the road, in particular here at Sonoma. He's top 10, right in front of Brent Cruz. Hey, we should celebrate Jeremy Clements, too. I mean, they've had a great day. And when you look at the last month, 6 weeks or so, 51 spent a lot of time inside the top 15.
Anthony Alfredo putting pressure on Jesse Love. There goes Zilich, the inside of Sawalich. Should have the leverage as they get to the end of these S's in the 9. Clears them easily before 8.
Sawalich losing a position is big because he has dropped below the chase cut line with what Brent Cruz has done here today. You look at the updated standings. I go right to Retzloff at plus 55. Great for that team, but you see how tight it is at the cut between teammates. The teenagers there separated by 9.
So we ride on board here. The dude wipes on board with Anthony Alfredo. This is what Shane Van Gisbergen wants to see. These two battling. We heard it on the radio communication before going back to green. if SVG can get a little bit of a lead, that's where he can start saving that fuel, give him a little bit of extra kind of bonus wiggle room just in case of green-white checkers at the end of the race.
And what he's sizing up now is where has he been better than the two Jesse Love? Where is he now lacking? He got right to him, and it's like Jesse got the message and vaulted away by a couple car lengths here. And here down into turn 11 once again, some contact. Oh, boy.
Raja Caruth, 88, another one of those drivers dancing around the chase cut line, 22 out as we run, making his first Sonoma appearance.
And I talked to Raja yesterday. He had never been here before, and practice was challenging, qualifying was challenging, and his hope was to use all these laps to learn. This place is tough. When you've come here, which we've been coming to in NASCAR for so long, and some of these drivers have so many starts here compared to him, you're playing a lot of catch-up.
Series champion Chase Elliott will drive that car next week, Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet. Also be behind the wheel in Indianapolis. Popple, Clements, Mayer, Jeb Burton right back with that group there.
I feel like Sam has been side by side for about every other lap that we've viewed here in the last stage 2, end of stage 2 and beginning of stage 3.
That's a tough pass to make that he just made work there, Parker, to go around the outside of turn 1 to get yourself set up to the inside of turn 2, making the pass on Jeremy Clemens as we see Dean Thompson here backwards, looks like in turn 2.
All good.
Not a lot of damage.
Eyes forward.
Both the Sam Hunt Racing cars have had issues down into, Harrison Burton was into 1. Dean Thompson looked like out of 2.
And it's unfortunate because they have found their way in recent weeks. Prior to San Diego, Dean had been finishing inside the top 15. Talked earlier about the top 10 last week for Harrison Burton. As you see what happened to the 26 there, a little contact.
I believe that was Brennan Poole who got into him, just got loose into 1. Same area that we saw Harrison Burton get loose and lose it. It is a tricky corner as Zilich to the inside of Taylor Gray here in the top 5 as he marches through the field best that he can.
He's 3.5 seconds behind race leader Shane Van Gisbergen.
Well, I was gonna say, as we watch him go through turn 1 and up that hill, you are slowing the car the whole time, but this is not easy going up that hill, and the race car can easily be on edge as it compresses into the hillside and gains a lot of front grip suddenly. Something all these drivers are managing lap after lap into 1, and you try to carry as much speed as you can up that hill, but sometimes the car can get away.
Heading toward 25 laps to go. Now we go full throttle with Sound Gear. Wherever sound is a problem, Sound Gear has the solution. Scan the QR code to learn more at soundgear.com. Turn it up.
Still clear by 5. Yep, all good right here. Only one in our ballpark is the 1-4, and he's 4.5 seconds back.
Yeah, I'd said the advantage was 3.5. It's actually now 4.5 seconds for SVG over 4th place Connor Zilich.
But what did you just hear in Sound Gear full throttle there as he went up the hill into 1, into 2, clutching and coasting, AJ. He is managing this race at such a high level. He's able to clutch and coast to save fuel and keep driving away from Jesse Love.
And on top of it, as he releases the clutch, he seems to be in a taller gear. So he's 3rd gear up through turn 2 and 3 and 4 and down all through those corners. So he's doing a couple of things. He's saving fuel being in a taller gear, and he's saving his rear tires because as he throttles up, that motor starts to lug and it doesn't spin the rear tires off these corners. So he's getting kind of a double bonus of fuel save and saving tires.
This is literally a master class they are seeing in real time by Shane Van Gisbergen.
He's led 42 laps today from the pole, and he's given up some of those because of strategy. It's Shane Van Gisbergen out front of Jesse Love, Anthony Alfredo, Connor Zilich, and Corey Day. .22 laps to go for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. We're live on CW with a PitBoss FoodMaxx 250. Shane Van Gisbergen continues to lead. You saw side by side Connor Zilich now up to second. Closed captioning for today's race brought to you by Cerakote. The top detailers in the world trust Cerakote, shouldn't you?
I could watch this onboard all day long. And it's not just that he's doing the clutch and coast and saving fuel and watching Shane drive these race cars. It's that right hand going to the right of the shifter. He's multiple times to the lap also adjusting the brake bias lever, which quickly can change the brake bias, either reduce or add to the rear braking. And he's doing it almost every lap in the same places, AJ. And it's just watching, there he goes right there to make a little adjustment, and he moves it back and forward through the whole lap, adjusting how that car reacts under the brakes while just managing everything else in this race car. It's so impressive.
Yeah, he's got. We're good with it. If he gets to us, we can push. We're good on fuel. One to the good, not counting his savings. So more.
Yeah, he's got just a great feel of the race car and where he needs to push it, where he doesn't. So we see Taylor Gray here making a pass on Corey Day into the top 5. Great run. Parker Retzlaff right behind him there in 7th. Another great run.
Let's get a report on Gray. What's going on there, Dylan?
Yeah, do a Toyota driver update on the driver that just took over the 5th spot in Taylor Gray, who's having another great road course day. Finished 2nd last week, of course, 3rd the last road course before that at Watkins Glen, and has done a nice job at the front of the field all day today. He said he's put a lot of work in to just have more raw speed on the road courses. Said, I used to need a rabbit to chase. I don't really feel like I do anymore. Feel like I know how to maximize speed around this racetrack and around any road course racetrack. And Jason Ratcliffe, his crew chief, echoed the same thing. He said the biggest difference maker on a road course is the button, the seat. So if you make a lot of changes, sometimes that doesn't really get you what you need. Taylor's done a good job to do his part to just get better on these types of racetracks, and it's showing so far today. He's been really solid.
I mean, you look at them, and they've been a little bit of a yo-yo, right? I mean, he's had problems in more than 10 races this year, but great execution the last couple of weeks. Dylan references what he's doing on the road. 2nd at San Diego, top 5 here, and I tell you, you want to celebrate great things, and we just can't say enough about Viking and what they're doing. Anthony Alfredo 4th, and Retzloff right there in the top 10 again.
And when I spent time with Parker Retzloff and Anthony Alfredo yesterday in the garage, they were so excited about how these cars drove at San Diego, then here at Sonoma, and it's just, I can't, to your point, we can't say it enough. This is so impressive for a young organization. 2 weeks in a row in a West Coast swing, this early in its, infancy here as an organization, to have this kind of performance from both drivers and both teams, really impressive to see.
And it's important for both teammates to have success, right? Like, as race car drivers, of course, you want to be the guy dominating your race team. But when you can have 2 drivers in such a young team kind of feed off each other, keep making the equipment better no matter where you go, and it's really starting to show kind of as we really edge into the second half of this season.
Brent Cruz starting to get aggressive in the 19.
Yeah, I think Corey Day is potentially holding these two up a little bit right now. Corey's got a bit of a tire rub on the right front. As Brent Cruz looks to the inside, Retzloff, trying to get 2 for 1. That's going to be tough.
Don't see that a lot at turn 7.
No. Retzloff let him go. Thought the better of it. Probably felt like the 19 could get to the 17 quicker, maybe help him get by the 17. Here's Taylor Gray and Corey Day. There's a little bit, this might be where the damage is from. The right front.
But when you go up there and you know that every position is a point, and you think about how tight things are, you got to go get all you can, especially if you're Brent Cruz. Yikes, little contact with Corey Day. Allows Retzloff to get through.
Brent Cruz made the decision, I'm driving into this until I see God into the corner, and Corey Day, unfortunately, had to get used up a little bit, but Brent knows that, he's already 12 seconds back of SVG in the lead there, so he's got to get away from this group, and Parker Retzloff did a great job, kind of saw it coming, let Brent go into 7, knew that he was getting around Corey, and unfortunately for Justin Allgaier, he's backwards again.
He is in turn 2 there for Justin Allgaier. I spoke to Andrew Overstreet, and he said before they came in these 2 road course races in San Diego and Sonoma, he told Justin, don't even worry about these. We don't have to see them again. No matter how bad they go, we're not even gonna let it phase us. 5 wins on the season. They've been absolutely awesome. Obviously a huge points lead. Here's looking back at it late. He's already off in the dirt. But I think these 2 maybe went worse than they could probably have expected, and are looking forward to getting away from the road courses.
Kind of a home game next week, going to Chicagoland.
Yeah, I'm going to, some breaking news here. I'm going to say Justin Allgaier next week at Chicagoland is going to be really fast.
And I'm going to say that he'll still have a sizable lead over second place in the standings when we get there. All right, we're talking about leads and advantages, and there's the difference first to second. Shane Van Gisbergen to Connor Zilic.
This is what's scary if you're Connor Zilic. Shane Van Gisbergen, as we've rode on board and he's saving fuel, running taller gears, just ran his fastest lap of the race.
Wow. It's just not fair.
That's not that. I mean, and that's what's tough. Like, I've been in that position behind SVG. Like, if you're Connor, you're like, I'm running him down. I can see it, and then SVG's like, oh, hold on a second. I'm gonna put a lap in here.
And if you've been watching NASCAR the last 2 or 3 years and watched us harp on what SVG does, you know, we're 2 drivers who have spent our life, we started in road course racing. What he does sort of makes our mind break in some respects. It just doesn't make sense, but he makes it work. And it just somehow he's able to have such speed, take care of the cars in ways that I never thought was possible at this level or in NASCAR. And that's what's just so incredible when we go on board and I get mesmerized watching him, because it defies everything I learned my entire time getting, you know, to this level and trying to apply, and yet he makes it all work.
50 laps led today, the most he's ever led in an O'Reilly race in his career. Trying to finish the deal with 16 laps to go. The highs and lows of Sonoma. It's tough. NASCAR and CW back live, Sonoma, California. 14 laps to go for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Last time around, Zillage put up a lap, starting to gain just a little bit on Shane Van Gisbergen.
Let's hope. That lap came kind of out of nowhere, out of SVG. This lap, he went quicker, but Connor Zillage starting to put some quick laps in. Another 3/10 off of Shane Van Gisbergen. So Connor pushing. Same deal, Parker. Is SVG just saving, or is that all he's got right now?
You think he's human, maybe, potentially?
What do you have for us, Dylan?
Well, it's been interesting to listen to the one radio over these last couple laps because I'm listening to the second channel. This is not information necessarily that's going to Connor, but Rodney Childers, the crew chief, has gone back and forth. He said first they told the 9 that he was good on fuel, and then a lap ago he just came back on the radio and said now they've told SVG to save again. So I don't know if Kim is hearing anything different on the 9 radio than what I'm hearing on the 1, but it sounds like it's a fluid situation to say the least. And I think the plan for the 1 is to just keep the pressure on Shane, make him not able to save as much fuel as he wants to save it, and then just see how it unfolds. Remember, both these guys not going for points, they're just going for the win, so they can kind of put it all on the line here if they have to.
And there's going to be 12 laps to go this time by. That's a really long time, you know, at a road course. So a lot to manage here down the stretch at Sonoma. Talk so much about 1-2. Let's go back to third, riding with Anthony Alfredo.
Alfredo doing just a great job here. They've kind of, Anthony Alfredo and Jesse Love kind of been bouncing back and forth kind of within 0.8 to 1 second of each other. Seems like one of them puts a little bit of a quicker lap in, the other one responds. But what a great job. And then as we see Taylor Gray, he's right behind Anthony Alfredo, so this battle for third is going to be a 3-car battle pretty soon.
Yeah, you said a battle for third. Alfredo fourth in the running order behind Love. And there's that group behind him. You referenced Taylor Gray, Brent Cruz.
Well, we've entered uncharted territory in terms of the length of this green flag run here in the third stage. It's the longest run of the day. If it continues on, it will obviously be the longest run of the day. So this is sort of where, you know, we talk about what Zilich and SVG are trying to do there and how their battle, but even for Love and Alfredo, Gray, Brent Cruz, this is where the car is kind of entering a phase of which you haven't experienced yet. How are the brakes holding up? What have you done with the bias? How are the rear tires holding up? What are you feeling inside that race car? There's a lot that can change, and you mentioned without 11 laps to go, I mean, that's a lot of time around this racetrack, and that's a lot of laps in an O'Reilly Series NASCAR stock car at a road course.
I just think, too, about the guys on the box. And you have to start developing your mindset on, okay, caution comes out, what am I doing? Do you give up the track position? Do you come down pit road? Where's the breaking point on getting tires? And it's always a big question here. We've seen it at every level. I mean, track position is so preferred on a road course, but there's going to be a dividing line of those that say, I want to come and get some tires and make a late rally. Ryan Sieg, Raja Caruth.
That's very similar to what we saw from Brent Cruz a couple laps prior. And that is, you just throw it in there and hope it stops, as we see the 21 pitting, Dylan.
Yeah, and this was unscheduled. They had thought maybe that they had a tire going down. Then they thought that maybe the rear end had come apart, like they broke a track bar mount or something. But obviously, as you see the 21 back on the racetrack, that doesn't appear to be the case. They thought they'd seen the rear end of that race car moving around. So just some service to get that car back on the racetrack, change tires, and send him back out.
Got his second win of the year last year, won the season opener at Daytona. And I think about some of the tracks coming. He's good on the 1.5 miles. Should be good next week at Chicagoland. And in 2 weeks' time, Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta, Hampton, Georgia. You know that the guy from Winston is always really good there. It's getting pretty fun here.
Yeah, this is getting really fun. And to your point, if we did get a caution, if you wanted to come get those tires, we're not seeing a tremendous amount of fall off here today. 2 years ago, I actually did that. I was in 5th, tried to take tires. Didn't quite work out for us. We got back to the top 10. So interesting to see if anyone decides to do that if we get the caution. But Alfredo hounding Jesse Love here.
And as a driver here, Parker, we've been in this position before. That 2 car starting to slide around a little bit more than you'd like. You look in your mirror, you see 3 cars behind you. 10 to go, it feels like an eternity. So Jesse Love's gonna have to try to hit all of his marks perfect, because I feel like if Anthony Alfredo gets around him, Taylor Gray, Brent Cruz, they're just gonna fall through here as he's gonna try to make a run. Going for the block. Alfredo to the outside. We see Brent Cruz send it under Taylor Gray now. Cleared him for 5th.
Yeah, and if you're into Alfredo, you see that as well, and now know you have to get by Jesse Love and try to vault away as the 19 is coming to you.
Vibration. Keep digging for us here, buddy. Let us know if it gets worse.
Well, that's a tough pass to make. Yeah, vibration's never good. As we mentioned, we're on the longest run of the day. That can mean the tire issues. You just look to the inside here.
See that 2 car moving around. The 96 car of Anthony Alfredo here has got a little bit better forward drive. But I think Brent Cruz is kind of lining them both up. Watch for Brent Cruz here. Get a good drive off this corner. Try to send it under Anthony Alfredo. They both defend.
The balance of patience and aggression. 3 wide, are you kidding me, to turn 7? There goes Alfredo, getting by Jesse Love for 3rd.
That worked out perfectly for Anthony Alfredo. Gets away from the 19 through these S's who's stuck behind Jesse Love. Gets a little bit of breathing room. Brent Cruz will look to the outside as we head towards 10, and Jesse Love's just going to let him go.
Yeah, and think about Jesse Love, 2nd in points, and in quite a battle there with Corey Day. So you want to do all you can to preserve positions here, because once we get the reset and the chase begins, 2nd is a better option than 3rd when you look at that reset, and Love now falls back behind Taylor Gray.
This was so tight. It was a block thrown. Anthony moved further right, then there was a further block. He moved further right, didn't quite get into him. Yep, said, nope, I'm still gonna find some space here.
It was almost as if Anthony Alfredo was trying to block Brent Cruz and realized, well, heck, there's an opening here. I gotta take it.
And there you see the difference from 1st to 2nd. Van Gisbergen back to Zilich as SVG manages some traffic. Next guy he'll see is the 45, LeVar Scott. Scott back in 32nd position.
Zilich cut a little bit out of that lead. Get back under 4 seconds as he works his way through this traffic. Those are the kind of things, if you're in Zilich's position, you love to see. Ahead is this 9 car finding other cars, not just clean track.
7 to go. Uh-oh, problems here. 71 off the pace. That's Leland Honeyman.
He was real slow there when Shane approached him. He's on the outside of turn 1. Potentially still under power.
SVG's like, someone tell him
get off
about the drag strip. Like Ross Chastain, let him know about where you can get off the track. He doesn't want a caution here.
I thought I just heard a major misfire potentially.
And this is turn 4 down to turn 7. You got a lot of downhill to coast, but a long way to get there.
Can't tell if he's, seems like he's still under power, Parker, if he may be out of fuel.
I thought I heard a little bit from our trackside mics, just like a misfire almost. Yeah, there you hear it. Major misfire in that engine.
Well, the way it's going right now, I'd say this looks pretty good for Shane Van Gisbergen to avoid a caution as Honeyman comes down through the S's. And now if he can just get safely over to the left and get onto pit road when he heads toward turn 11.
And he should have a pretty big gap behind that 07 that's about to go by him here. Be able to cross over to get to pit lane.
Little spotter help, drift to the left. Crisis averted for Shane Van Gisbergen. 6 to go. And the 9 is out front by 4.2 seconds over second place, Connor Zilich.
A little bit traffic induced there on Connor Zilich's lap, but to show the difference, SVG ran just under a second quicker, and that's only a 10th and a half off his fastest lap. So I think SVG is in full control still over his pace, and really probably 2 worries that he has. No cautions, and do we have enough fuel?
Unbelievable.
Really hope he's getting this all out of his system today.
Yeah, tomorrow looks a little rough if he shows up like this.
You know, he was in Group 1 qualifying earlier today in Cup after the incident last week in San Diego. So SVG didn't qualify inside the top 5 for tomorrow's Cup race. He'll have a little work to do there when we go green. As we check in on the battle for third, Alfredo having a great day, but Cruz right there with him.
Alfredo got hung up in gear there, trying to get it into second. Sounded like into turn 2. Brent gave a little bump. You heard the RPMs go up. Now he's to the inside into 4.
Gray right there as well.
Yeah, Taylor Gray's gonna follow his teammate through to get around Anthony Alfredo for 4th. Still a fantastic run. He's got about 5 seconds. Anthony Alfredo does back to his teammate Parker Redsloff. That has now moved into 6 over Jesse Love.
Can save hard, still have a big gap for the 99.
For Cruz from below the cut line to plus 22. And we ride with Alfredo. You heard them telling him about the gap back to the 99, his teammate. Alfredo trying to finish off his first top 5 in 2 years.
The other key thing you heard there was save hard. So obviously trying to save fuel here on the 96. But Kim, you have more than 9?
Yeah, he was told that they need to see 80% from him until 2 laps to go. That's when he can unleash and go hard. So Shane Van Gisbergen told to save as much as he can. 80% is all they want to see for the next 2 laps, and then open it up and go as hard for the last 2 laps.
This is just 80%, AJ.
No, they just want to see it. We don't even know if this is 80%. They just want to see 80%. Can't wait till he gets to unleash it.
Talk about a Saturday afternoon drive through wine country. Just go out, ease your way around, build up a lead of almost 5 seconds.
I think he's broken a sweat here in this 3rd stage.
And we talked in the pre-race about his disappointment from San Diego, and we referenced driving angry. I feel like right now it's all joy behind the wheel of number 9. Dale Earnhardt Jr. got to be happy about what he's seeing. Philip Bell, such a great job executing with this 9 bunch.
You know, and last year, he really raced Zilich in that tight battle they had very respectfully and could have easily taken that from Zilich last year. I felt like that sort of stuck in his mind. We watched that piece in the pre-race where they watched it back, and you could just tell he wanted this. He was like, hey, you had last year, I want this year, right?
Yeah, and I think a little bit of that was, you know, Chicago, he roughed up Connor
that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
So I felt like that was SVG's way of like, okay, I might have done you just a little bit wrong in Chicago. I'm going to ease off here at Sonoma, and then obviously Watkins Glen, that all went out the window. So, but, you know, we all talk about how good SVG is, and I think he could make any car look so good. But Parker, you know, as a driver, you get into a rhythm in such a good car like these junior motorsports cars are, and you put a guy like SVG or Connor Zilich in them, and they make it look easy. They got a 17-second gap over Brent Cruz right now.
That's unbelievable.
2 laps to go this time by.
4 laps.
You saw Philip Bell there on the box. We talked about him and his good leadership. This team won at Circuit of the Americas early in the year. Also won at Charlotte with Ross Chastain behind the wheel. Junior Motorsports this year has won with 5 different drivers. 4 of their cars have been to victory lane. Think about the strength for Chevrolet. 18 straight victories on the road. It had been 11 straight, as I said earlier, for Junior Motorsports until RCR got it done last week with Austin Hill. And now Van Gisbergen 4-7. Just wants to make that run through the S's, turn 10, 11, and make sure he gets back to the white flag with no more cautions.
Looking through this field here, Carson Kvapil up to 7th, doing a fantastic job in that 91 car. Corey Day just getting by Jesse Love for 8th, so Jesse struggling late in this run. Sounds like he'd used up those rear tires and paying the price.
The fuel situation as well, I would think, you know, a little bit too for Jesse Love. We knew he had to save a ton. So this is what they've been able to do on these road courses, and it's really impressive if he's able to make it.
For Kvapil, that would be his 6th consecutive top 10 finish doing an outstanding job. White flag in the air this time. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank for what's ahead. Less than 2 miles to victory for Shane Van Gisbergen.
See Shane really taking care of just making sure he's got enough fuel. You can see Connor Zilic trying to make a race out of it, but Shane over the last couple of laps has really just kind of shut her down a little bit just to make sure he's got enough fuel.
And you see that super file on Shane's car could be a big win for them as well. That was announced as the title partner for Trackhouse MotoGP team. So if you're a big fan of Global Motorsports, to see a sponsor like that in racing, getting to victory lane in NASCAR, pretty cool for them as well.
Parker, I'd like to see you on a MotoGP bike.
That would be scary.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm not brave enough.
I'd pay for that.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to start fundraising to find you a sponsor so we can all watch.
No.
Little lap traffic for SVG through the S's.
Just babying it right here. Just follow Dean. Nothing to push for here.
The only laps he really didn't lead today were the ones through cycles of strategy. Turn 11, final time. Little lap traffic, no problems for engine number 9. He's a Sonoma superstar. Shane Van Gisbergen wins in wine country.
Hell of a job, Shane. Thank you. And awesome job, team. Thank you. What a great race car.
6 career wins. Second time he's done it here at Sonoma. And the first driver in series history to earn his first 6 wins on a road course.
Oh.
This is big when you think about points, right?
Right there, too. For Taylor Gray, run out of fuel. We knew it was tight for some of these cars.
Oh, this is heartbreaking for them. Just watching everybody drive by.
Yeah.
And so many on the lead lap, they're all positions. I mean, just losing points here.
What the team's asked him to do is basically use the starter motor. You leave it in gear and try to bump it, move it forward. That's so hard to do.
Will the starter not get it going? It won't even start.
That's a long way, too, back to the start-finish line. So, but, you know, with Taylor Gray running out of fuel there, he's going to get a help from his teammate, Brandon Jones. I'm not sure that's legal. But
oh, well.
Last lap. But we're not going to say anything. But that means Viking Motorsport 2 in the top 5, Parker.
Wow. What a 2 weeks for that team. On the road courses. Yeah, NASCAR will have to investigate this.
12th win of the season for Junior Motorsports. And as one Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota helps another. We just got a report from NASCAR that lap will not count for the 54. But Brent Cruz, when you talk about Joe Gibbs Racing with a great day, finishes 3rd in his first appearance in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series at Sonoma and jumps above that chase cut line, and he will benefit from the misfortune of the 54 as Taylor Gray drifts in the wrong direction. Viking Motorsports puts both of their Chevrolets inside the top 5. And Carson Kvapil ends up 6th in the 91. This ought to be some fun. And here's the SVG number 9 burnout, or as our friends at PitBoss Grills like to call it, the smokeout. And he can put on a show after he gets the checkered flag, no doubt.
Well, that motor will be used up.
And I was just thinking, another thing I'm jealous of, his arm's long enough that he can high-five guys.
That's not, you've never had that issue.
I've never, like, I literally have to be halfway out of the car to even get my arm out to high-five. So another thing I'm jealous of SVG now.
You've got to go full Carson Hocevar to high-five the team.
Like he just literally just stuck his arm out and high-fived his whole team down the start-finish line. That's just sadness for me.
Junior Motorsports, victors of 12 of the last 13 in road course competition. And they've now won 20 all-time. That is the best of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series.
We're going to let Shane go ahead and do the signature signing of the rugby ball and the kick. Well, yeah, watch out in the front row here, folks. Let her eat. Go ahead. Oh, that was he got all of that one to the upper deck almost. Oh, it bounced off the canopy over there. Hey, Shane, as he goes around here and gives these guys a much-deserved fist bump and high five, team effort today to make sure that they had enough fuel to get to the end. You had enough fuel to do a John Force here on the front stretch, but how tense were those last few laps just trying to make sure you got this thing right here to the start-finish line?
Yeah, a little bit. Luckily enough, I think I saved enough early, and sorry it wasn't the most exciting. I guess boring is good when you're the one leading, but yeah, thank you to Superfile and Junior Motorsports, Chevy. What an amazing car, like to lead like that, and the car was just so good the whole race, and stoked to get another one for these guys.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job today, to say the least. Shane Van Gisbergen dominates and saves enough fuel to get it done at Sonoma for the second time.
He leads 66 of 79 laps, pulls away at the end, and claims victory in Sonoma, California for the second time in his career. Engine number 9, victorious for a third time this season for Junior Motorsports.